Hospice Simcoe will be hosting a forum, for lack of a better word, in March that's called Dying Matters. What's behind that title?
Yeah, so Dying Matters is a series that's designed to initiate conversations about dying, death, and bereavement. We started this about 4 years ago when we had constant people coming in to talk to us about struggling with the conversation. So this specific event is titled What to Say When You Don't Know What to Say, and it explores how to acknowledge and support those in our lives who are grieving. So this can be anybody. This can be family, friends, neighbors, colleagues, anybody who's experienced a loss.
And when they come to this forum, what are the topics? I mean, is it about, because nobody uses the word dying, it seems now. It's, it's passed away, they've gone away, or I don't mean to be disrespectful, but why is dying a scary word?
Yeah, we've experienced that for years and years and years. People are afraid to say the word dying, almost like it's going to happen if they use that language. And we're here to say it's not. We're all going to experience this. We're all going to die ourselves, and we're going to experience the death of a loved one. We have people come to us all the time saying things like, I don't know what to say, or how do I help? Or I'm afraid to say the wrong thing. I'm afraid to use that language. Or we have clients coming in saying, I wish my loved one didn't say that to me. Or people don't know how to acknowledge me in my grief. This event is to help point individuals in the right direction. It's really giving you ideas of what to say or not say to help people who have experienced the death.
Is there a wrong in a right and wrong column, things not to say, or?
100% there is. And we hear this often in our support groups. We can write a book of things that you shouldn't say to somebody. For instance, sometimes people like to hear, they're in a better place. And sometimes people don't want to hear that because the better place is here with you. We often also hear people say, let me know what you need. But there's never a follow-up from that. So really telling somebody what you want. Do you want that casserole in your freezer? Do you want that phone call every day to touch base? Do you want that check-in? Just being very specific with what our needs are.
And is there a big gap or difference when we're talking about a death of an adult compared to a child? I don't know if anything would be more challenging, but when you're dealing with somebody who's had that death in the family.
Yeah, so we provide support to anyone that's died, including children, and we do offer children bereavement support as well as adult child loss support groups. We do find that although they might go through the similar waves of grief and bereavement, those that have experienced the death of a child tend to be a little bit more stuck for a period of time. So hospice is there to support them every step of the way.
How do you know what to say? I mean, is it based maybe on maybe you have a better understanding of who this person is, or they may be a family member as opposed to a friend? How do you get through to know what to say? What are the proper words?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that you have to fill that silence with words. And sometimes just being present and listening and acknowledging and saying the loved one's name goes a long way as well. I think we follow the lead of the person we're talking to, and we just are open to that conversation to begin with.
And is that the same for the person who's had the death in the family? Do they ever reach out to their support system afterwards, or what they're looking for?
Yeah, they can. But again, sometimes I feel people don't know what to say in those moments. So again, this presentation from our Dying Matters series can help with that as well. How do I even start that conversation? How do I tell people what my needs are? We can give little tips and tricks on that. It's
a challenge. I mean, we've all experienced either we've been on the side of the fence where we've, cared for somebody and they have died, or what will people take away from this, do you think?
I'm hoping that they take away practical skills, but also I hope that we encourage them to at least initiate the conversation. We encourage them to knock on their neighbor's door and check on them. We'll encourage them to use the words death and dying and bereavement and seeking support when they feel as though they need it. We're just hoping to initiate that conversation. That's our overall goal.
I don't know if you've done like a history on it. Why have we moved away from the word dying? When did that start? Do you know? Or where we've, George Carlin, I brought him up in our conversation before we turned on the microphone here, where he goes, nobody dies anymore. They pass away. What's wrong with that? Or is there anything wrong with that?
Yeah, so I think back in the day, we did a lot better work with dying. We used the sense of community and we supported one another. We've just lost that. We've become very isolated, especially when you throw COVID into the mix. We've been very much isolated in our own homes. And I think that we just struggle to make connections like we used to. We struggle to have those conversations like we used to have. And all in all, we're afraid to say the wrong thing to make somebody upset. And sometimes that word dying and death make people uncomfortable. And that's what us as humans don't want. So I think there's a natural struggle to even use that language.
So, if people looking for that kind of support or learning more of this seminar, when is it taking place, the times, and where?
Yeah, so join us on March 19th from 6 to 8 at the Traditions Banquet Hall, which is 142 John Street. There is no cost to this event, but we do ask that you register first. And you can do that by calling the Hospice Simcoe Community Support Building at 705-725-1140.